Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews, you can find band interviews, as well as you can find live episodes, which we record every Wednesday night at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do them live, so you guys can come hang out in the chat with us and chat about music. It's a fun time. I have fun with my friends that I do the episodes with, and it's just a good overall time where you can talk about music, news, and stuff like that, and your thoughts. So come say what's up. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as hit that like button. It really does help out our channel immensely. You do not understand how awesome that is, and it's just a subscribe. You can check out our content more easily if you do subscribe. So, that's always a benefit. But anyway, kind of getting away from myself. Tonight we're going to be talking about Forevermore's new record, Integral, which came out this past Friday, July 22nd. Um, I was actually kind of busy and I kind of wanted to digest this record because it's just so lyrically heavy. And I still can't really fathom it. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description. They did a podcast on Solid State Records on their SoundCloud, and they kind of mapped out this album basically lyrically, not sonically. So I'm gonna be able to do all that stuff, but lyrically, I highly recommend that you check it out. It really maps out how these tracks work, how lyrically they work, and just how they work overall and the whole scheme of the album. So, um, really amazing stuff from these guys. If you're unfamiliar with this band, they started back pretty long ago. Their first record being Moss and Rust. I did not hear about that until just today when I was looking up their wiki. That's what I have up on my computer over here. But I came in when they had their album Sojourner, and I've been hooked on this band ever since. That record kills. They had a different vocalist at the time, but still, awesome stuff from these guys. And their first record on Solid State, Tell Us, was just an awesome record, and I feel like these guys don't get enough love. So I wanted to do a review on their new record, Integral. Um, they picked up Kramer, their new lead vocalist on their last record, Tell Us, and he used to be in a band called Onward to Olympus. So if you have not checked out that band, give them a listen. They're another awesome band. They kind of disbanded, obviously, because Kramer went to Forevermore. But anyway, kind of sidetracking. But I definitely love this band. And I was super stoked that they were doing another record. Just a little backstory on this album as a whole. It's based off of this terminology called spiral dynamics. I am not going to go into detail on that just because it's just so tough to explain, and they do such a better job of explaining it than I could ever do. So I highly recommend that you check out that podcast that podcast that they did on Solid State. I can speak English. Um, but yeah, so I highly recommend you check that out before you either check this interview out or you know, watch the interview review and then check out the podcast because it does definitely help explain lyrically where they're going with that. But anyway, I'll move into the first track, which is I. It's kind of like an intro track. It's awesome. Again, I think it's a great opener to this album. It kind of is like a little bit longer of an intro to add to Nascent, which is the first like actual track. But I feel like it just gets you into the mood for this record, and I was super pumped to just hear kind of like an intro sort of play out, and then they really kick into the next song. So I was super excited with this one, and I feel like it's just an awesome opener to this record. The second track being Nascent, like I said earlier. This was actually the first track that they released as a single off their new record, and I fell in love immediately. This was probably and is still one of my favorite tracks off this record. Um, I think the color of it is beige, if I'm not mistaken. It's supposed to represent survival. So, this track is all about surviving. It starts off awesome with this kind of like delayed, sort of clean sound to it. And then the guitar, the drums, the bass, everything kicks in at once. All the instrumentals kick in, and I really enjoyed that. As you can tell, I don't know if you can see. There's a guitar behind me, so I do pick up on a lot of the guitar parts, and I've been a big fan of just their guitar parts in general. So I feel like they are again highly underrated as a band, and I love their stuff. So if you haven't checked out their older stuff, I highly recommend it. But anyway, getting back to the track Nascent, I like that kind of like clean intro, and then it gets really heavy, and it's just got this groove to it. Um, I can't really put my finger on it. It's just got this awesome beat, like beat drums. The guy who does drums just kills it. I'm gonna look his name up real fast. Sammy, you kill it, man. And just the rest of the guys. Kramer does an awesome job. Jared and Alex are holding it down on guitar, and Michael does an awesome job on the bass. I feel like everything gets really accentuated as in the whole band. Each thing just doesn't sound like one just giant mess. Everything sounds very together, very organized, and I love that about this track and just the whole album in general. That just every member gets their own time to kind of shine, and that's awesome. I also like the cleans a lot on this. It's kind of got this like gritty tone to it, and I really enjoyed this track. Track number 3, Noumina. It starts off kind of heavy-ish, and then it's got some breaks in it, which is nice. I do enjoy that a lot in some of these heavier metalcore sorts of tracks. I like when they have sort of musical breaks in the track, to kind of catch your musical thought. And another one. This was another one that they released as a single. Another awesome track. One of my favorites as well off this record. I can't talk enough about it. The instrumentals, they just did another awesome job. I feel like everything's kind of accentuated again in each track. Just like each member has its own kind of like spotlight time. Kramer does an awesome job with the cleans and the screams as well. And we'll move on to track number 4, which is called Overlord. This one is another one of my favorites. I know I have a lot of favorites on this record, but this one's another one of my favorites. It's heavy, it's fast, it kicks right in immediately. Um, Again, it's got some nice musical breaks in it. I don't think there's any cleans on it, which makes it that much more brutal and just heavy. I think this is being one of the heavier tracks off the record as a whole, along with Enterprise. Prism's pretty fast and heavy, and I'd probably say Integral is another heavy one. But I really enjoyed both of those. I enjoyed that one as well. Again, like I said, as being one of my favorites. Um, and then it kind of leads into like at the end of the Overlord track, they kind of have like this like ambient kind of noise stuff in the at the end, and it leads into Order. Um, Order being one of the singles that they released. Um, I really enjoyed this one as well. Probably not as much as Nascent and Noumina, but that doesn't mean that it was not a great track. I feel like it's an awesome track. Um, probably one of the probably one of the catchiest choruses in this record for sure. I like when I was driving and listening to this record, I could just hear myself singing the chorus in the car and stuff. So I really enjoyed this one. Despite it not being one of my favorites, I really did enjoy this one. It's just got this super catchiness to it. This like nice, clean, clean versus scream sort of thing. I always enjoy that kind of juxtaposition on both, the cleans and the screams. And Kramer does an awesome job. I don't know if either the guitar players back him up because they do show that in the music video. So that might be a live thing, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, getting back to Order, definitely enjoyed this track. Give this one a listen. And we'll move on to track number 6, which is Enterprise. Like I said, it being another heavy track. Um, it's just got this heavy. It's just got this awesome progressive beat. I don't know if I pointed it out in any of the other tracks, but I enjoyed the like if you listen really intently, it's got some nice tapping parts. Like it just makes it just adds like another layer, another dimension to these tracks. And I enjoy that a lot. Again, being a guitar player, I really enjoy that kind of like I don't know, just that those like additives in the tracks. They just make the track kind of sound full and like nice and pretty, and they just kill it. Forevermore, you kill it, guys. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites off the record. Again, another heavy track. I love when these tracks are super, dude, just aggressive and stuff like that. Um, Moving on to track number 7, which is Empath. Another awesome track. I think another heavy track as well. Um, Not much to say. I mean, again, I'm gonna be repeating myself. Another heavy track, heavier track, not heavy. It's got some awesome cleans, like I said earlier, and or in a previous track, but this one has as well. Also has great cleans as well. Um, really enjoyed this track. Again, I don't think it being one of my favorites, but I definitely enjoyed this one. Track number 8, Ikagi. Um, this one's kind of like like a musical break. Like I said, I'm gonna be using that term a lot, but it's this nice like interlude. Just to kind of break the palette up, musical palette up. I love when bands kind of do that, like interlude sort of a thing. Very much similar to one of my favorite record or favorite metalcore records of all time, Memphis Mayfire's "The Hollow." When they do that interlude, I feel like that definitely helps break up the album, just makes it, that much more interesting. But I just love the instrumentals in this track. Um, it kind of gets into this awesome build up mode, and obviously there's no vocals in it, but it just shows that the rest of the band can create an awesome track even without the vocalist. But they do create magic with the vocalist, obviously. But I like that they did that. They kind of broke it up. They kind of had something that didn't have any singing in it. It just added some, like, atmosphere to the rest of the album. So I appreciate that. Moving on to track number 9, Prism. This one just starts off as a fast-paced um, beat to it, and this one just kicks in, like I said, like a freaking rocket out of a space launcher. It's ridiculous. Um, Another fast-paced track, awesome track, both sonically, and Kramer does an awesome job on the vocals again. I think this has a little bit of cleans, but mostly screams. Um, awesome job from these guys. And we'll move on to track number 10, which is Pandemica. I hope I said that right. Um, it starts off with this nice, clean, like intro guitar part, and then the bass kicks in, and Kramer's clean vocals kick in, and I feel like it was a cool way to open up the track. There's a lot more. I think this one is probably has the most cleans, up there with Order and Pandemica, probably having the most cleans on this record. Um, it doesn't mean that it's not a solid track. Actually, being one of my favorite tracks off the record, it just got this nice diversity to it. I What I will mention on this album is I like the diversity, and I like the experimentation of these tracks. Like I said, Prism's really fast paced, kind of like fast beat. It's really energetic. Ikagi's kind of like slow. It goes into like a slow build up, then it gets really aggressive, and then it kind of peters out towards leading into Prism, and then Pandemica's kind of slow at the beginning, but again it builds, and I just love that about them and how they write songs. Just does an awesome job. And the last track being Integral, I feel like this track they couldn't have ended it in a better way. I feel like it just rounds out the whole record as a whole. It just has some awesome cleans from Kramer as well as some awesome screams, and it's got some bits where there's some slower parts, and it's got some heavier parts. It just adds everything together in the album, and just puts it into one track, and they couldn't have ended it any better in my opinion. um this one being another one of my favorites. Just I love the way that they ended this record. I don't think they could, like I said, I don't think they could have done a better job. And that's pretty much it with this record. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, how long you've been listening to them. If this is your first time hearing about them, definitely go check them out. Some pros about this record: I love the diversity. I also love the lyrical standpoint on this. I feel like it's almost as if it's like a concept album a little bit, just in terms of just spiral dynamics and the color sort of a thing, and basing each track off of a specific color. I feel like that's a massive pro about this record, because I don't think a lot of bands do that. The only other color thing that I can think of is the color spectrum from the Deer Hunter, and that's a completely different band. But He did that, and I feel like that's the most relatable thing to this record, being that I like the diversity of it. I like the lyrical expressions that they did on this record as well. I just feel like it adds to it. Kramer does an awesome job, just clean screams, everything all around. He does an awesome job, and the instrumentals, would say is the major selling point of this record. It just got some grooves to it. It's got some awesome, like, kind of like airy, like, tapping going on in the background that just adds some, like, musical space in this track and albums, and I just love that about it. Any cons? I probably say I feel like they could have put more tracks on it. Honestly, I know they base it off of colors, and obviously they have the colors on the actual album, but I feel like it could have been a little bit longer. I feel like they could have done. I feel like they could have added some more tracks, but that's just my personal opinion because I thought they did an awesome job on this record. So I'd like to see them go a little bit farther along, but obviously, they only did 11 tracks, but they are all solid 11 tracks. Um, this is definitely in the running for probably favorite metalcore album of the year. It just got, this chemistry to it that unlike any other band that I've heard in quite some time put out. So, highly recommend listening to this record. Um, my rating for it, I probably give it a 9.3 out of 10. This might be the highest one that I rated on here, Audio Addiction, but it's just so good. After you listen to the podcast, I feel like it just adds more to this record. I mean, I just kept going back and listening to it and getting more out of it, and just getting through this guy's journey basically from the start to the finish of the record, and just basically integral was basically him realizing, what he's done and what he's accomplished and sort of that thing. I feel like it's a cool way to explain a topic like this, as well as just like explaining the album as a whole and just spiral dynamics. I think it's an interesting concept, and like I said, I don't think any band has ever done something like this. Um, so I think that's awesome, especially in metal. I don't think anybody's done anything like this, but um, awesome band. Check them out. They're doing a headliner tour with Kingdom of Giants and Darkness Divided. So if you get a chance and they roll through your area, give them a listen. Awesome band. Pick up their record. Integral. Amazing record. If you like what we did, hit that thumbs up button, as well as hit that subscribe button, because, if you like this, I'm pretty sure you'll like the rest of what we do. And we greatly appreciate you here at Audio Addiction, as well as let me know what other albums you'd like me to review. I think I'm gonna be doing well, I'll keep it a surprise because I like doing that. But if you know any band or any albums that you'd like me to do, just let me know in the comments. Also for bands, I'm kind of doing this as kind of like an update thing at the end. If you have any bands, or you have any friends in bands, or you're in a band or whatever, um, hit up our Twitter page or our Facebook page. It's just rotating underneath our logo. Send us a message about your band. We'd love to get in contact with you about either an interview or a possible artist spotlight, which is what we do on our episodes, where we highlight unsigned or local bands or both that would like to get a little bit more exposure. So if that's what you're into and you just checked out my review for the funds of it, definitely shoot us a message. I'll definitely make sure to get back to you because I handle most of the social media. So yeah. So if you know anybody that's in a band or you're in a band, make sure to message us. It's hopefully we can work something out and stuff like that. So again, guys, I'm Brandon from Audio Addiction. Thanks for checking us out, and I'll be talking to you soon. Peace.